Man of many mistakes. I made them all so you don't have to, but you can if you want to. Okay, so today I wanted to talk about being a couple versus being single. And how does a person single try to couple again? Give it some thought. This is probably something that's geared more towards, the 40 and over crowd. But hey, the 40 and under crowd could listen too. Everybody can probably get something from it and relate to some things. So, being in both situations, being a part of a couple, being in long term relationships, being in a marriage versus being single, being alone, being estranged. I've been through all those stages, and now when you feel like maybe visiting that coupling part of your life again, in theory you got an idea of being with somebody and starting a relationship, riding out into the sunset with a person. But how do you do that? You know, you've been single so long, you really have your own way of doing things. You wake up when you want, you wake up how you want, you go to bed when you want, how you want. You do all the things you probably wouldn't do in front of somebody you loved and respected. So, how do you get back into that mode of coupling and being a compromised person as opposed to a selfish person? How do you readjust back into that? Because at one time in your life, you really knew how to do it. It was all about coupling. But we're in 2025 now, and the reality is, you know, coupling is becoming not such a proven concept anymore. It has a bigger failure rate than a success rate. And what's becoming success now is the on your own mentality and the lone wolf mentality and the me, us three mentality, right? And I got to tell you, being on both sides, you do, in theory, have the 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 curiosity of what it would be like coupling. So I say all of that to say 2025, 40 and over, 50 and over, 60 and over. As much as we are set in our ways, there's always a way to be met at your boundary and to meet at a boundary. At this part of your life, there's no reason to have to really have too many defenses up because you know what you will do and what you won't do. There's no question anymore. You've been through all the decades of life to where you've made the mistakes, you've had the experiences, you've shed the tears, you've had the laughs, you've taken the trips. Now, this is where discernment becomes so important in your life because you know what you will and will not do, and the person for you has to understand that, and vice versa. So, as opposed to going into coupling these days as a boyfriend, girlfriend, back in the day, sweet 16 type of relationship, it's not the reality anymore. And once we realize that's not the reality, then I bet you coupling can become cool again. And coupling could probably have a better success rate than a failure rate. Here's an example. If you have two people that maybe know each other or just met, but you got two people and they have an energy about themselves that says, hey, we can go further with this. Whatever this is, we can go further with it. Normally, further means getting married. Normally, further means having an agreement between you, your person, and the state, okay, the families, you know, Once you become an institution, it affects the whole institution around you, the families. It's the collateral damage that could be caused. So when you make it official, everyone has ownership of you now, and I'm sure you see that. You know, not only is the ownership coming from your family, but it's coming from her family, and vice versa. So that puts you in a trick bag of, here's a person that I met, I liked, we had a vibe, and we went and got married. And now I'm property, not only of her, but of everybody. And I'm not comfortable. And then she could say, well, damn, here we are married. I gave this man my everything, having his children, giving him loyalty and faithfulness. All legitimate reasons. But for some reason, we can't figure out how to couple. Too many people in our business. Too many barriers, too many rules, too many reality shows. Well, how do we really do this on our own? How do we do it? The percentages of this thing succeeding are so low compared to me just being alone and walking it myself. Solution. When you walk this walk, and you've been on both sides, single and coupled, whether you're in either situation, you cannot be successful at either without including the Most High. Let that burn, let that sit, let that sound corny, let that sound like a brain blast, let that sound like a light bulb going off. Whatever effect that gives you, there is no way around a successful anything without including the Most High being in that equation. You're an older fella, she's an older lady, you guys have an energy. All you got to understand is that, hey, I respect you, you respect me. Let's put the Most High in this so that we all are that we're cohesive now. Because once we respect the Most High, we can't disrespect each other. It's against the way, the spiritual order. It doesn't work. So you have to have love for something more than her and something more than him in order to love him, in order to love her. Because if I'm in love with the Most High and follow the Most High, I can't disrespect you. I can't put you in a position of being uncomfortable or insecure because I'm not obeying. And you can't put me in a position of insecurity or feeling used or not feeling as if I exist or feeling less than a piece of a tool because you're disrespecting the Most High. And if he's not in the middle of your situation, well, you're just two fighting bulls. That's it. There needs to be a referee. There needs to be somebody you respect. You respect the referee in the ring. When he says stop, you stop. When he says box, you box. Okay? You don't have a referee in your life, in your relationship. It's gonna fail. We're not smart enough to know how to figure this out. We need a Most High. We need another spirit that we can respect. So through that respect comes the love. And that's all it equals, people. Love. And without knowing your Most High, you won't know love. I can't say it any plainer than that. I wish someone would have told me, I swear to God, because I put a lot of years in what I thought was the right thing. And man, did I have a lot to learn. Mistakes. I just wouldn't allow the most important ingredient in this meal. I wouldn't allow the most important ingredient, that's the yeast. That's what holds it together. That's what makes it grow. I wouldn't allow it. Anyway, Here we are. Like I said, I made all the mistakes. And you either can or you don't have to. But it's all up to you. Peace.